Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a new reading vlog. This reading vlog is going to cover a span of about 2 weeks because I completely forgot to edit last week and things were happening, so I have to combine 2 weeks into one. And I'm happy to report that I've had a pretty good fortnight of reading, so there will be bits and pieces in this vlog. And so let's get started. Today is Tuesday and I had quite a bit of work to do, but I just finished. It's almost coming up to 6 p.m, so I'm just about to head out the door because I have something exciting to do. Initially, I was supposed to go to my dance class, but that has been postponed until next month, so that's fine because yesterday I went to this shopping mall for dessert and we were going to have a vegan ice cream. And this shop called Kind Cones, they do this book swap kind of thing, so they have this tiny little bookshelf and you can take any book there as long as you replace it with a book you brought from home. And I hadn't planned this well because we didn't really know that we were going to go to this shop, but as I was sitting down eating my vegan ice cream, I came across a book that I really wanted, but of course I didn't have a book to swap it out with and I wanted to go back today, but if I had gone to my dance lesson, I probably wouldn't have made it there today. And then right now, I'm heading out to go and grab that book. Hopefully it's still there. Of course, I will show you if I manage to pick up the book that I'm after, but I'm bringing a book to unhaul in its place, so I just wanted to hop on to show you what that is. And sorry, this is in plastic already, but it is Girls in Trouble by Caroline Leavitt. I'm unhauling that book because I DNF'd it pretty early on last year, and the reason why I DNF'd it is because I wasn't really invested in the story in the first place, but then there's one thing in this book that was kind of offensive to me. It makes fun of Japanese products that have funny English on them, and I see that all the time, so I get it, but you know, you also have to remember that Japanese people don't speak English natively most of the time, so they're bound to make those kind of mistakes. But because that episode doesn't add to the plot whatsoever, it could have been left out and the story would have remained the same. So I just found it offensive that people would actually choose to put that in. That's just one of my pet peeves, especially when it comes to my own culture. So I completely lost interest in this book. So I'm going to be bringing it along to swap it with a book that I actually want to read. It is the next day now, and I think I explained in my previous clip that I was going back to the store that has a book swap program, so I did. I was so keeping my fingers crossed that the book I wanted was still there, and it was. So I managed to swap out the book I took with me, which was Girls in Trouble by Caroline Leavitt, and replaced it with this one. This is the life of Irène Némirovsky, author of Suite Française, written by Olivier Philipponnat and Patrick Lienhardt. I hope that's how you pronounce those names. I'm so excited I found this because I was just thinking about this author Irène Némirovsky just the other day in relation to a tag that I'm supposed to be filming. And so I was thinking about Suite Française, which I've read before and really enjoyed. Then I was thinking about this author and I suddenly came across this biography, it looks like. So I'm definitely going to read this very soon, and also other works by this author to try and get a better understanding of her world. So that's taught me a lesson. I think I'm going to always carry around at least one book that I want to unhaul. So this is a great idea in case I come across any other book that I want to swap for free. It's amazing. This is probably a good time for me to show you the books I started in the last week or so, because I only did a vlog over the weekend for the Basically Readathon. So last week I finally finished the Peter Pan in Kensington Gardens and Peter and Wendy by J.M. Barrie. I really enjoyed Peter and Wendy a lot more than Peter Pan in Kensington Gardens. There were quite a few things in Peter Pan in Kensington Gardens that got me interested to find out a bit more about the references that were in there, more so than in Peter and Wendy. So that was really fun. And as well as that, I also finished reading The Language of Dying by Sarah Pinborough, which is a novella. This story was really similar to A Monster Caused by Patrick Ness, which I've read and loved, but this one was published a little bit before that one, so that's interesting. But this book didn't have as much of an impact on me, just for the simple reason that it's a novella, so even though there were a few interesting things introduced in the book, there was no room for those things to be fleshed out in the length of this book. But I would say that there were a lot of details that I found a little bit too graphic in this book. So yeah, now on to books that I've started but not yet finished, but hopefully by the end of the week I can. And the first one of those is My Friend Fear by Meera Patel. I am about halfway through this one. This is a beautifully presented book with not much text on every page, but there's full color artwork. So I'm really enjoying reading this and the journey of this author. And the story is about embracing your fear of being different, because the author's parents migrated to America from India. She notices that she's different from other people and tries to come to terms with the fear associated with that. I can relate to this feeling so much because I moved countries when I was 9 years old. So I'm reading about things that for me, I personally had forgotten those feelings and they're coming back for me. So it's a really interesting one for me to read. Next, I'm also still reading the 47 Rōnin book for the March of the Mammoths readathon. I haven't got very far into this, to be honest, but there will be a separate reading vlog coming out for this one. Lastly, for English books anyway, I have been reading I Am a Cat by Natsume Sōseki, which is a Japanese author, and I've decided to read this side by side with the Japanese version, just so that I guess it can enhance my understanding of the book. I prefer it in the Japanese version, but I will explain that some other time. So now it's still looking quite bright outside, you can see in the camera, but it's actually 5:30, so it's almost dinner time. I'm going to get ready for that. So I will check in with you when I have another reading update. Hello, it has been such a long time since I last vlogged, and today is Saturday the 27th of March. I am taking a day off today because I'm feeling a bit under the weather, but feeling well enough to actually wrap up this video. So I have read quite a bit in the last few days and I haven't vlogged anything, so I am failing miserably as a booktuber. It has been such a long time since I uploaded my last video because, first of all, I had some computer issues. There was a Windows update and then it just stuffed up some of the things, and it took me a while to get on top of that issue. And my cat also had to have his surgery for neutering 2 days ago, so I wasn't really in the mood to vlog. And so he's fine, he's home already and he's doing really well. So I am just hopping on here to let you know what I've read in the last few days, and it's been pretty good. I've read Japanese books, English books, so let's just start with this segment. Although I just said that I read some Japanese books in the last fortnight, now I'm feeling like I'm just going to leave them out of this vlog because most of you probably read in English, so I'm not sure how relevant it is anyway if I talk about Japanese books. And I have enough to talk about without even mentioning them. Alright, so I finished reading My Friend Fear by Meera Patel, which I mentioned in an earlier clip. This was really lovely. The author is really encouraging, and towards the end of the book she talks about how to get started with your creativity and embrace your fears and things like that. This is really my theme for 2021, so it's really nice to have read this at this point in time. I also finished reading The Girl and the Ghost by Hanna Alkaf, which was on my TBR in February, I think, but that's alright. I thought this was okay. I will talk about it in a wrap-up in future. Now on to my current read, which has also set off this huge phase of reading other works by this author, and that book is The World According to Hanna by Jostein Gaarder. And I grew up reading his other works, and I decided to reread a lot of them. So in that vein, I read The Orange Girl. I already finished reading this one, and also The Solitaire Mystery, which was not a reread. This book sat on my shelves for a very long time. I bought this probably about 15 years ago, but I never read it for some reason, and this was so nice. So I will talk about this book in my future wrap-up also, but it's highly recommended if you like anything sort of lightly fabulous, magical realist kind of thing. It was so good. So yeah. So back to The World According to Hanna. This was published in 2015, so it's fairly recent, and it has to do with climate change, so I'm really enjoying it. And I'm up to about page 60, but I'm expecting it to be a quick read because I know the author's writing style. It's just so easy to read, and I love it so much. But I have a few others by this author to read in my collection, and also a few that I haven't picked up yet. I really want to get hold of another book by this author called Christmas Mystery, but I might wait until later in the year because this book is supposed to be set out like an advent calendar, so I think it will be so nice to read at Christmas time. Of course, I've read Sophie's World a couple of times, and I will be rereading that through the course of this year at some point, and I think it's great that that is the most popular book by this author, but also I think it's a bit of a pity because that book has a lot of mixed reviews and maybe a lot of criticisms, and I think that might have deterred some people from picking up his other books, and I really enjoy the world that this author creates, so I highly recommend picking up. Right now my favorite is The Solitaire Mystery, so if you haven't read that one, please go and read that one. It is so special. It's a story about family and travel. It's a book within a book, and there's a bit of magic there. It's just a bit of everything, which I really love. Anyway, it's coming up to the end of March, and I was thinking about my April TBR, but I have decided I'm not going to post TBR videos anymore because I never follow them. So I think it's going to be much better if I talk about my reading plans for the next week at the end of my reading vlog. So apart from the books that I have ongoing from earlier in this vlog, I have a plan to start rereading this YA series called Tomorrow When the War Began by the Australian author John Marsden. And I think this is probably going to be about my third or fourth reread because I grew up with that series, and there are 7 books in the series. I came across that on Kindle just the other day, and I saw that it was very reasonably priced for the entire series, so I couldn't resist buying it. I have so many memories of this series because it was really popular when I was growing up, so please let me know down below if you've read the series. But I'm looking forward to this reread because I remember being a bit scared at the time of reading when I was a teenager because there's quite a bit of violence. It's a pretty dark story. It is set in Australia, and it's about a group of teenagers who go out camping in the bush, but by the time they come back, the country has been invaded. So the series is about their resistance towards the invasion. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to starting that. So that's about it for this vlog. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and please consider subscribing if you'd like to see more videos from me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!